Talk to Julia.
Tema monitor.
All right, welcome to another episode of Mojave River Valley News. Today, this is day 2. We're here on the NAB floor, which is National Associations of Broadcasters. And where we left you yesterday was at the Black Magic booth. Now, what we were talking about yesterday is a lot of things we want to look here for today are entry level, level 1 and level 2 people that are wanting to get either into video podcasting, audio podcasting, or whatever type of video you want to do out there, because the world is opening up to this world like it's opening up like crazy. YouTube, everything. These are people that started at entry level and got to the second level, sometimes the third, and many of them got to the fourth level. So anyway, we're back here at the Black Magic booth, and I want to talk about just real quick. If you didn't catch it yesterday, at the end of the video, some of the things we were talking about were like the cards, capture cards, the converter devices. Those are the things that you would probably run into most at level 1 and level 2, stuff. So anyway, we are in the North Hall, and we're going to see how far we get here for day 2. So come along with me. Let's take a look and see what we can find. So this floor yesterday, we got a chance to walk through it for a few minutes just to see what was ahead of us here today. And there's a lot here. I'm not sure how much we're going to find at that entry level. I've been told there's a lot more at the West Hall, so we'll be getting over there to that a little while here. So we're going to try to get through this floor and see how quick we can get you to the West Wing or the West Hall. It seems a little bit more crowded today, and I'm not sure why. Maybe a lot of people came and said, you know what, we're not going to come Sunday or Monday, we're going to come Tuesday, Wednesday. A few more people here today. Now remember, a lot of people don't come here and stay all 3 days. They come here and visit maybe 1 to 2 days, and that's most of the cases for NAB. So let's head on down this hall here. We're going to make it, one of the things we're not going to spend a lot of time on, but we're going to go to and look at today is what Adobe is doing. If you are getting involved in editing, one of the products I might suggest is you can get the Creative Cloud for like $30 a month. That gives you all the products. Some of the things I want to stop and talk about here, really in front of the AMD booth here, is the power that's needed. And yesterday I touched on a little bit here. We find in a lot of cases that, if you're doing a rendering, after you've gone through and you've edited everything, you have all your overlays, everything is done in there, and the next thing you know, you find out that it's going to take you hours and hours and hours to go ahead and knock this whole thing out and get it rendered so you can get it out there. A lot of that is computer power, and it's amazing. So a lot of the equipment that we have purchased in our studio, which was about 2 years ago, is already becoming outdated for speed. Matter of fact, I think a lot of our equipment, we're going to probably upgrade this next year, and we're using high-level stuff. I mean, we're using the AMD 3900X. We have 128K, our gig of memory in these machines, and it's a lot of memory. Now, one of the things we find out there, and one of the things we're looking at very closely at the schools, where, for example, a student, no matter if it's at the junior high level or even at the elementary school level, high school level, or college level, that you have a machine there that you're going to render in your project, and it takes so long to render that that machine is not available for the next class. Just shows you how much more power demand that we have on this rendering. I remember when we were first doing it with our i9, the Intel processor, it could take 2 hours, 3 hours sometimes to render a video. You don't have time for that because whole thing, come back, find out there's oh my gosh, there's something I missed, a transition didn't work right, and you have to do the whole thing again. So anyway, I just want to stop from the AMD booth and just talk about this because this is the computing power that you're going to need. Let's come down around the side over here. Now, I'm not saying AMD is the choice. AMD is really one of 2 different processors. Intel makes their i9s. They make powerful processors too. The AMDs are usually a little bit cheaper. different tools. Tools, it looks like for on air, I'm going to guess. I wish we had, a lot of the times you'll have different contractors that will come into these booths here to show the product and show how their product fits into this here. This is a specific computer they're powering here. Let's come back around the other side. I hate to go to the back of all this, but we're going to need to.
It's so hard because you don't know when you were.
Go to the meeting because it stops. Not saying
So I'm going to come back around over here, Mr. Cameraman, see what we can find. Because remember, we're trying to find stuff that's going to work for us for that entry level, second level, and third level. Because those are the things that we want to see here today. Let's come back around this side here. Is after you've gotten ahead, now you have your video made, it says, how do I get it out to the world? There's different video podcasting pieces out there where you can do on the internet, log in, become a member of them. You can put it on YouTube. YouTube is one of the easiest ways, and one of the cheapest because it doesn't cost you anything. All right, so I am not finding too much. So some of the things we're running in here sometimes aren't, for example, for the creation of video to put it online. It has to do with workflow. A workflow today is really big. What workflow is in a company where you might have multiple offices. At one time we had multiple offices before the pandemic. And so sometimes to work with each other, we'd work with different videos or be able to have a spreadsheet on this line at the same time or a Word document. And these might be things you're saying, well, gosh, Eric, we know about that stuff today because we've gone through the pandemic. A lot of these products here today are showcasing items like that. All right, let's sneak around here because I'm going to get down to the small booths down here. You never know what you're going to find at a small booth. Whenever I see the thing on the air, it makes me think that that's something we need to go look at. All right, let's take a look and see what media fire is down here. All right. This looks like more for TV stations that are doing multiple, programming here. So you have a whole bunch of different programming that's being pushed out. A lot of that software is here today. That's not what we're looking for. I got to have William watch out for these big concrete poles. These big concrete poles, we lose our internet connection. Data pipeline services. I kind of caught my eye here, and I'm not sure what caught my eye the most, the umbrella, the yellow umbrella, where it says iRoma Sense. And I almost feel like I'd like to go find out let's go find out what this is. Let's go see. So I'm catching you guys at dinner here. We're a live feed on news feed here. And I'm catching you guys eating here. Okay. But you caught me, I'm not sure what caught me the most was the yellow umbrella, which is probably the guy behind you. Exactly. but it worked for you. But then I saw up here Roma Sense. Tell me just a little bit with our viewers here now. A lot of this stuff our audience is entry level 1, level 2 type video people, right? Okay. Tell me real quick because I think this is interesting.
It is interesting, first of all. Now, talking to you.
Let me see here. Can we get a mic, William? We're gonna get you a mic here. We're gonna just to make sure that we can hear the whole thing.
Okay.
All right. Are we good with this? All right. Tell me more about the product.
All right. iRoma Sense is the next generation of movie. Okay. In our vision, all the movies in the future will have Centric. Like today, they have a soundtrack, Centric, and actually there will be some episodes within the movie that will contain some sense. It's not all the time during the movie, but specific sense.
So this is maybe like I've seen maybe at Disney when you're sitting there and you smell a skunk or something.
For example, yeah, but the idea here is not only like a 7 movies short movie like in Disney, but full movie, like 90 minutes movie and so on. And you have not only the ability to smell, for example, the coffee or the steak,
Right, right.
but also it's another layer of information. So the movie makers have another flexibility and the ability to give more information to the viewer by smelling. Like for example, let's assume there is a car accident and then a police officer is coming to investigate what happened, and then he see a cup of coffee, and then he smell it, and he actually realized that this is alcoholic. So the driver was probably drunk. Okay.
Right.
One alternative, and so on.
One quick second. My director, huh? I am muted? He's muted. You gave it to me muted. One quick second. We have a technicality here. We still picked you up on this, so we'll just. All right. So no. We can hear you through this, right? We can hear you. We can hear you through my mic. But now you're going to be really clean. It's like it's taken to the next level of audio. But David, go ahead.
So as I said, that's why I call it the next generation of movies. Because the information that you can gain from this is changing the entire way that you see a movie. That's one point. The other point, it also can be used for gaming, for video gaming.
Right.
And another layer.
Oh my gosh! I just stopped you on video gaming. I'm thinking about all these videos where you're watching all this blood and gore. Do you really want to smell all that? So can you turn it off or turn it down or turn it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you get back to this, okay. So in here we have a drum. What we call a drum is a container of 45 different scents. And for every genre of movies, there is a different drum. Okay, so with the different color, and imagine yourself at home. You have some, library of variety of drums referring to different genres. Okay, and if you want to watch certain movie from certain genre, and you put in the device the wrong one, then the system will recognize it and will let you know about it.
Okay, so let's take a step back, and I know you got a lot more to explain about here, but so we don't have waste too much time.
Okay.
So, are you, I guess, expecting in the future, or maybe it's already started now, in the movies there's encoded something in to say, give us that scent?
All right, so how it works. Just give me 1 second from here because that's,
So this is interesting because, this is something that has been talked about for quite a while. Everybody says, you know what, we need to bring in scents into your room or your theater or whatever it might be. For example, some of the things I know that, I know Disney has done something very similar to this where you're smelling something. I think it was Bug's Life or something did that when the stink bug went off, right? And you smelled that.
The scented movie, it's not something that we invented. Actually, people are talking about it for over a century.
Exactly.
But the concept that they were looking for it was completely different. Completely different and, in our view, completely wrong. Why? They used either the air condition or pipes underneath the floor to distribute the scents all over the hall. Now, 2 problems. One, the scent has to be synchronized with the movie. Now, by using these pipes, so a person who sits here, a person who sits there, will smell it in a different time because
definitely. You have to plan ahead.
So it's not synchronized. That's one problem. The other problem, if you use the air conditioner, for example, you have to use a big amount of molecules.
Right.
They remain in the air. Unfortunately, they don't fade out.
Right.
They remain in the air, and then the next time that you want to use a different scent, they will combine together, and then you get something completely different. So that's why we came up with the conclusion that we must have an individual device. So in the movie theaters, you'll find this in front of every single chair. Okay.
See, I can see this because I'm kind of one of these guys that thinks way out with stuff here. I can see where you have something in your glasses that gives a little odor, just a tiny bit right there, right instantly. But I mean, but you got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. Well, go ahead.
Back to your question. How do you make it? The synchronization. So what we have here is actually a Centric Editor.
Okay.
And it's very simple to operate. So
wait a minute, is this something that the consumer would need to do, or the theater does, or the production company does?
In the future, that will be done
In
by
post.
the production. No, by the production, it will be part of the producing the movie itself. Okay, so the movie will come out from the studio already embedded with the
So it's in post-production. They take care of it, show exactly all the
Correct.
place the scenes.
Correct.
So tell me, are there?
At the moment, we have to do that, retrospectively
Right.
for all the.
So are there any of the production companies or the theaters that are interested in your product yet, or are you just trying to get there?
We are starting that.
So I just want to explain something real quick. So we've talked about this before in the videos, that there's many times you have somebody that's taking the time to showcase their product here, and what they're looking for is people come up like me, even though I'm not the one you need to talk to, say, you know what, I'm kind of interested. What could we do with this? Who can be the first to do this? How are you going to do it? How much does it cost? Blah, 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 blah. So now, where's your next step? Where do you feel you can go next?
So that's one of the reasons why we're in NAB. Okay.
I had it now, didn't I?
To talk with the right people, to find distributors, to get interest from the movie makers.
Yeah.
That's the real important target
Right,
market for us.
right.
And also to introduce ourselves to the world. Actually,
Right.
we've been in January also here
Yeah.
in the CES, and we show that as well, because we have another application which is standard shopping.
That's probably smarter yet.
Yeah, we don't talk
Yeah.
about it in here because
Yeah.
that's not the target
No,
market
I
in this,
understand.
this
Yeah.
conference.
Because we're already seeing it, for example, in magazines where you can scratch something. We're always seeing it in stores where they're going ahead and, and coming back to Disney, not that I'm trying to get Disney a plug here. When you walk down the street going by the candy place, they're shoving out that scent of the candy out the little vent all the
You
time.
go to hotels, there is a signature scent for that particular hotel.
Right,
The
exactly.
The smell is one of the senses. It has the memory, the longest memory.
Mm-hmm.
So, everything that you see, you'll remember for a certain time. Everything you hear, a certain time. Everything that you smell will stay with you for much
Good.
much longer time. So that's another layer.
Very good. Thank you for sharing with us. Let me get one of your cards here so I give it to our post-editing team here. Wonderful. Very
If
good.
you like, there
Well-
is some info.
Well, no, thank you very much for sharing with us, and
Thank you for stopping by.
I hope you guys enjoyed that. This is something completely different. These are the kind of things we're looking for.
That's the future, don't forget.
That's right. I love it. I love it. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. So that was more than just interesting. It makes me want to look around to see who else is in here. Captioning, we're not ready for that yet. And your guys, I think, let's move off of here. There's so much to see. One of the things you'll run into, you never know what kind of things. The rest of this stuff is more post-production stuff. There's a lot of possibilities with that. Let's go ahead. Let's come back over to the other side over here.
Inside the engine that we're using to take the exam, a bunch of feedback to help them study the next time. Or even know.
NAB is doing another show here, another piece where they're talking to folks here, connecting you with whatever answers you're looking for.
Awesome.
Huddle. I like using the name Huddle because it's like Hubble. It's a very smart. So this is interesting here because you have somebody that's been able to speak, and it's probably, since instead of a green screen, they're using a blue screen for this. And it looks like it's more of an interview. So everybody's kind of involved in it here. Very fun, very fun. He's sitting in a chair over there. That's pretty neat. So let's come on down this way here. Let's head back across. Creative collaboration, that's kind of above what we're looking for, but that is a big industry, is taking what you've already cut in 2D, turning into 3D, giving it that depth.
I would say there are two different ways of doing
Storage, we talked about storage yesterday. As you start cutting more and more stuff, some of the drives that we have back at the studio, we have, I think, probably a total of probably 30 to 40 terabytes, and I could be even low on that. So let's come back over here, see what we find. We went by these guys, the U Live. That's interesting, but I think it's more outside of what we're looking for today here. some of the choices that we had to make here with our videos is trying to figure out what's the best way of streaming. So when we first started looking at this, we said, you know what, why don't we go out and do our own streaming? We did all the research, we did all the numbers, we made sure we could do it. We wrote all the software to do this. Then we came back and said, the numbers don't work. Because the only way, you're either going to do this as an amateur, or you're doing this to say, how do I go ahead and make money from this? Now, for example, like Google has a way to monetize your videos, but their limits are very, very high. You have to put in about 4,000 hours of viewing, and you have to have 1,000 subscribers before they'll even consider you. So there are the streaming services, but to step into those, you have to be up and running. So I gotta go ahead and tell you guys that where you're starting today at the entry level, the first level and second level, it's really maybe when you get to that fourth level, fifth level, you can say, I have enough content out there today that I might be viable to monetize. So those are the key things. A lot of this stuff in here we're seeing where you're seeing a lot of people that are doing video streaming of the products, but it's hard to get there in the entry or the first or second level. Promise Technologies, this is a great platform that I've used for many, many years for actually huge amounts of data storage. As a matter of fact, we may even have to be considering moving to that here in the near future. Lots of shotgun microphones again. Storage, like I said, if maybe you can swing around and catch one over here. These are mass storage devices. After you get going, you have enough data out there, you're going to go ahead and find yourself, having to have all kinds of storage.
You want to take a video?
No, we're actually, what we're doing is the show is for entry, second level, and third level. People want to get into video and audio. And what I'm talking about, because I know your products,
oh, yeah, I
already know your products.
This is
once you start getting a lot of data, and that's what I was explaining to the audience. We're live right now. No, don't go away from me. Don't go away. So we're live right now. So one of the things that I've been explaining to folks, like back at our studio, I think we're getting close to, I think it's actually close to 50 terabytes.
Oh.
Well, 50 terabytes, now you're going to say, now we got to have a way for everybody to get to that.
Yeah.
So when you're getting to those higher levels, that fourth or fifth, this is where you want to go to is a product like Promise. Promise does a great job. I've worked with them for decades, actually.
Yes.
And they do a good product. The mass storage so that any of your workstations can get to the same data. And today with the gigabit and the larger gigabit networks, it's almost, not quite, it's almost like having the drive with you. So we'll talk more about that with hardware. Thank you guys very much for sharing with me. Thank you. All right, so that's for a future video for sure. And just kind of give you an idea here, just real quick here. Each of these is a hard drive, is what it is. In this case over here, it looks like there's 16 hard drives. And what they do is they work together as one drive. One drive that you can actually divide up or whatever you want to do so that you can, but like I said, this is for another segment. Seagate, another hard drive company. Some of the things that we've tried in our studio is doing the editing across the cloud. We find that it's just too cumbersome. Bringing the video back and forth, it just doesn't make sense. The speeds you need, and a lot of the stuff we're doing is what they call, and I don't want to throw big numbers, M2 drives that are drives that are on the bus, really speed up things, but those are the kind of things you have to think about when you start getting to that third level, entry level, or I mean, not at the entry level, but the second level and the third level. Because when you start diving into this, you're going to need speed. Now you can say, well, wait a minute, Eric, how come I need more speed all the time? It's because the software looks and says, you know what, we cannot do this level of software for you today. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold on back because your machines are not powerful enough. But as the machines become more powerful, Then you go to the next level, and then you're going to take have a faster machine because the software is going to be doing much more. One of the entry pieces that, for example, Adobe has come out with their Premiere Pro is their artificial intelligence that goes through and looks at the audio and says, all right, can I tell which pieces of the audio today are things that you need or don't need? And these are very important. We're seeing the same thing with video. We talked about yesterday a company that is actually doing audio today. So things are changing. So as machines get faster and cheaper to be able to have for this level, you'll see the software will ramp up too. Just in a few years, many years I should say, that we've been using Premiere Pro, the original Premiere Pro, which would not do what we wanted to do today many years ago, would super fly on the machines today. So anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the next area here. See what else other cool stuff we can find. RAID, more disk storage. Let me go ahead, I gotta give somebody a card here. You guys want a card, don't you? We saw here where Seagate has their booth. We talked to Promise over here. SanDisk is also coming out with different types of large drive formats. The other thing I want to touch on, and this is for you folks out there that are getting that second or third level for storage, start thinking about what type of hard drive you want. Is it a mechanical hard drive, or are you looking at, for example, solid state drives? Solid states are much faster. So as we're starting to see drives get faster, we're starting to see all this technology built around it. Let's come on down here and see if we can find out this way. I had someone made a comment yesterday, which I want to respond to if you're online, that kudos to the cameraman, William. You know what? He follows me all around this place. And what we're doing, this is raw. You're seeing the floor live, at least at this point here. Now what we're going to do is we'll take all these segments and we'll put them together as a full video that you can come back and if you want to revisit or see what was happening here at NAB, because this is not something that easily that you can go ahead and get back to. But William's following around, he's got the GoPro, he's running 2 cameras at one time. So I want to say thank you, William, for what you're doing. Following this crazy host around the floor here. One of the other things I want to touch on here too is your intro graphic, your intro video, different pieces that have to do with your intro. I haven't seen very many companies that do this. There's different companies that have different, where you can go ahead and just put together like a 15-second intro for your videos and not have to put a lot of work into it. You can actually design a lot of these things using After Effects, which is an Adobe product. There's other companies that do this too, to make sure that you can say, all right, how do I have something that's really sharp? And our teams spend a lot of time back at our studios designing these different pieces, because it's a lot of work to it. So when your video starts, it's that little intro piece that I'm talking about. Let's go back around this side here. See what we can find over here. Smart audio products for remote world. Take a look over here. Most of the stuff is post-production stuff. Storage. All storage. We seem to be in an area that's mostly storage. So let's keep moving further through this. So this is a little bit out of what we want to touch on today. You're probably familiar with SanDisk products. SanDisk products are the little chips that you put in your phone or you put in all kinds of things. They make lots of stuff, and now they're coming out with the bigger drives that are all solid state. All right, I'm gonna sneak around this way here. Watch the big poles. I probably want to head back down this way in just a second here, but I want to see what's over on the other side here first.
Look at the ray trace reflections and refractions on the left.
All right, let's take a look here what we have
You'll
here.
also be able to see the panel's reflections on the floor surface.
A lot of automation, more automation stuff.
And of course,
This is neat here. We were talking about green screens yesterday. I know a lot of folks out there have taken their garages and they turned their garages into put a green screen in there so that they can do any type of production they want. There's a lot of people that are doing this, even in your own community around. I know in the high desert, there's a lot of people that have done this just to experiment. And you know, it's a learning process. And I think of any of the things I've taken a chance to learn over the future, video production is probably the most fun because there's so many layers of this to actually get it out. Not only just in figuring out what your scenes are going to be, trying to put together some type of, scripting for your scenes, what you want to say, storyboarding what you want to plan to do, getting out there, getting all the contacts of who you need to talk to, doing the filming, making sure you have the right people behind you. Go ahead and sending this off to your post-production, saying, all right, now, I've gotten to send you this video. Now, do you know what it is? If it's somebody else, if it's you, obviously you know. So now you take it to that level, and then you're going to crank it through. Then you got to figure out how to market and get out to the public. A lot of layers in this industry, a lot of layers. And every day it's getting easier to do. So let's come back around this side here. See what we find here. Audio boards, audio consoles. Audio is now, today, you'll find a lot of the consoles have built into them. The audio and the video are all part of the same console. Let's run around this side of it here. We gotta watch out for concrete poles. We'll lose you guys. EVS, they're a big company, been around a long time doing a lot of this stuff here. I'm gonna kind of take a peek around the corner, see what EVS is doing here today. Probably doing what everybody else is doing, showing some of their production products. This is more of an upper level type product, so I don't think this is really going to concern us here today. Maybe in future videos, maybe we start talking about that 4th or 5th level. A lot of this is post-production stuff here, and also live streaming. This side of Seagate over here on this side. Okay. All right, let's come back over here. More streaming products, more television type streaming products, live production products. Sorry, William, I took you through a weird spot here. Another green screen set. Now you can buy the material. You can buy the material to make your own green screen with the poles. And probably, let's say, an 8-foot wide one that say you want to put in your garage, or if your spouse is happy with it, or you have an extra bedroom, put in your dining room, like many times that we have done in the past. And so I think that this is cheap enough that you can do this kind of stuff. Because like a green screen and the poles to hold it, you can buy that for under $50. Hang a nice green screen, and you can even do that, the green screen stuff, with your cell phone now. There's a lot of apps out there that will actually take a picture, put it in the background for you while you're filming from your cell phone. All right. This is something that is a little bit outside of what we're talking about today, but I want to talk about this. I would say that there's a lot of people that do a lot of recording today, that do all kinds of things. Look, we have worship, news. On the other side of one of these, it was esports, government. You find the topic, the niche that you're wanting to go after. The last election, which is a year and a half ago, our team went and videotaped all the people in the local election so people had a chance to know who they were. But what I like here is the idea that showing there's a lot of solutions. Your church is probably doing broadcasting today. That's crazy. News solutions. Like I said, government. Government is now broadcasting out. But let's say there's something, specific that you want to do for government to highlight something that's going on. Start filming it, put it online. Why not? All right, let's come back around here. So, what Ross is doing here is, this is, kind of watch where we are here. We're in a major traffic flow area here. They're coming up with solutions for streaming so that your church service can be actually streamed out to the public. Today we're using a product that's called Restream. Great product. It goes out to Facebook, it goes out to YouTube, it goes out to whatever you want it to go out to, it'll send the stream out to. So that are available to take streams like this. So let's swing around this side of here. I want to, I don't necessarily want to get into the nuts and bolts of Adobe here, but I want to just go ahead and touch on this because like I've been talking about earlier, Adobe has this product that's called Creative Cloud. And what Creative Cloud does is gives you, it's probably 80% of their platform. And I would say it's most of the platform that you would need. No matter if you're wanting to do your web design using, there's all these different products that will do this. Using Dreamweaver, for example, I've talked Premiere Pro over and over again. I talked about After Effects. I talked about Audition. All these different products that allow you to do anything you want. It'll cost you about $30 a month for it. Well worth it. This is probably, of all the products we use, we probably run at least 70-80% through Premiere, through the Adobe products. So you might want to look it up. This might be the product for you. Like I said, you can come in and try it. If it doesn't work out for you, do it for a couple months, $60, and then you're out of the way. But the other nice thing about these subscription services, which you'll see Microsoft is doing, everybody's doing these things, that almost, it seems like every other week, there seems to be an update, either fixing bugs, trying to figure out how to make things better. So I just wanted to do a shout out here. This is a good product. This is for entry level, and trust me, this is not that complicated of a product to learn. And if there's something you get stuck on, because so many people use this, there are tons of educational videos all across YouTube out there to learn about something. Matter of fact, I run into it every once in a while. There's something going, how do I do this or do that and get this to work there? Go online, sure enough, somebody's figured it out, and they just told me, now I've added it to my tool belt. So let's go ahead and head a little farther down here. Interesting. I think we talked about a little bit yesterday about a transition that is taking place today. And the transition is in podcasting. Today you have podcasting that is done at a level that is audio. Audio is very, very popular. But video podcasting is just starting to really take off. There's still a lot of audio podcasters. A lot of audio is listened to maybe while you're driving to work every day, or you're listening to while you're getting ready to go somewhere, or just something you want to sit down and listen to with your headphones. Video is that next step that's happening. So I don't want to leave out today talking about audio podcasting, because this is a very great way to get into this stuff at the entry level. Let's come back around over here. It's another green screen. And what they're doing is they're probably just showing. Let's talk about green screens a minute. There's different kinds of green screens. There's fabric green screens. There's actually, you can buy the paint. There are boards that you can put up for green screens. Today, if you're getting involved in this at the entry level, just buy the fabric. What you do is you take it, you steam it the best you can, make it as taut as you can, and it'll more than take care of your needs. Another question you may have green screen, they have the white. But why in the world would you use blue or another color? And it all has to do with what your foreground is going to be. What your artist or whatever you're trying to do will be. So this company makes the pieces here, right over here. This is the piece that goes against the wall. Solid piece, and then this would continue up with whatever color you're needing to do in your studio. Maybe we'd come around, let's look at this on the other side here, because this is probably, if you're wanting to do something more permanent in your garage, this might be the solution for you. Here's one for a curved cover that they make. If you notice in the background there, they're all pieces that are all put together there. So if you're looking for a permanent solution, it's going to be a lot more money for this type of solution, but it will take care of you. And then a lot of times, if you're going to go ahead and buy a fabric green screen, buy the one that is like 8 feet by like 14 feet. That way it comes down the wall, it can cover. So let's move across over here, see what we can find on this side over here. I'm going to come back around this side here.
So it's not even a drive.
We were talking about remote workflow before. I think something that I want to touch on here is where we're going to see AI be moving. Where you have artificial intelligence that's deciding if you're going to be doing some type of live broadcast, making a decision what it's going to be showing, what not to be showing. In workflow, the same thing. Who's speaking? Making sure that person's being focused in on. Or better yet, in your production, your live production, when you get to that level there, maybe somebody's speaking there and you want the camera to say, all right, I got a wide view of this. Instead of having 2 cameras, it takes a piece of that and says, all right, this is the person that I want to be selected, and it's still to be done with 1 camera.
Have a good one.
Let's see if we, oh, excuse me. Let's see if we can slip through the crowd here. Let's see, we've already been real close to this over here. More live or post-production. If you're wanting to do, and we'll be seeing them later on, I'm sure, because we know they're here because of their product is here. There's a couple of great products out there, for example, that are very, very common. Vmix is one of them. Let's see right here. Another one is OBS. OBS is free. These are products that are saying, you know what? I want to do a live stream of a video. I don't want to put a lot of money into it. OBS is a good choice. Like I said, Vmix has a very, very cheap entry level price on that too. All right, let's come around this side here. More studio stuff. Everybody's trying to come up with the next product that's going to go ahead and try to figure out how to make things. It's like anything out there. I mean, think about when your own automobile today. Look at all the gadgets. One person invents a gadget, now all the cars have a gadget. All right, let's slip through here. A lot of this stuff is, I talk about Vmix, and here they are. So this is a good platform. They have entry-level pricing. It's not too bad. If you're wanting to do some streaming out there, there's a lot of products out here. We've used this many, many times. Sometimes we use OBS for our different products. Even if we're doing an in-studio type piece, not a live piece, and we're saying, well, all right, instead of doing all the green screen work, we'll just, instead of doing a post, we'll do it live there and be able to check and say, all right, does it fulfill the need we have in the studio? So this is a company that has actually done a pretty good job with this. And it's entry level, definitely entry level. Let's slip around this side here. Watch out for the poles. We're going through the concrete poles and we lose their internet connection. What these shows they bring multiple level people to them. They'll have people that is the that is the person that connects with whoever they feel that somebody wants to talk about a product. Then they'll bring in somebody that's a connector that's going to go ahead and get you the product. Then they figure out tests and say, all right, what kind of questions does this person have to bring in a tech on this? And they find this is a consumer thing where it's a retail thing or a distribution thing, then the sales team comes in. This is all an art here. These guys don't spend this much money to be here without making sure they're capturing the right audiences. Now a lot of this stuff, because we're doing media stuff today, people are coming by and sometimes they're chasing us down going, will you come back and do our piece? And we have to look at it, and that's what our team, William, is in the background going, we're talking about entry, second level, and third level items. So, all right, let's move down across over here. See what we find. Sometimes you'll find that a lot of the booths will use big keywords like broadband or streaming or live now, and you get over and you kind of find out going, you really don't do that, but you sucked me in your booth doing this. It's kind of like the yellow umbrella earlier. It sucked me into the booth to talk about the smell guy, right? So I'm trying to go through and read everything I see. There's no way in the world we could even do this talking to everybody here. So if we're missing something that you're wanting to hear about, send us a note here. Maybe tomorrow we can get back over here and dive into it possibly a little bit deeper. Quantum, another big company that's involved in a lot of stuff here. A lot of this stuff I'm seeing, a lot of stuff is workflow when we're coming through here. AccuWeather over there, if you have a site that's want to go ahead and give you some information across your site there. You might use AccuWeather to have plugins that give you weather on your screen. Pay a small fee. Some of them even come with advertising so that they kind of pay for the stream of what it might be. So let's head across over here. The other fun thing to watch here is how many exhibitors are getting around to look at other people's booths. Really big. All right, this is a little above what we're wanting to do today or talk about today. Okay. Again, if you haven't had a chance to, please subscribe. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're on Facebook, please like this, and also ring the bell, because every once in a while we'll do events like this. Even though we try to get the event name and everything we're going to be doing out there, at least it gets a reminder to you going, oh my gosh, they're doing something cool, I want to go see it. Maybe that should be my new front room TV.
But you don't see that every so that doesn't work.
So I'm going to show something here. I want you to start way back for me here. And what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in closer to this as we get into it. I want to get you a chance to see what these panels, at the point of view that you're looking at today, you probably see a lot of texture in it. A little bit here. But now come in and start walking toward me here. So slowly come in closer. William, if you could. You might have to do some adjusting of the focus. What I want to do is I'm going to come in close. Right now, William is probably about 16 feet, 10 feet, probably 8 feet. He's 6 feet. He's probably 4 feet. Here, see the line? This is each panel here. One LED dot that's doing this. So this is not necessarily very, very good for close-up stuff, but I've watched over the years, technology is just going crazy now today. Some of the LED panels here today, we haven't seen them here at this event here, but the dots are not even there anymore. So William, let's move across over here.
Are you looking for something?
No. We're just showing an example of of what's happening on this imaging, how it's changing year by year. It's changing very, very rapidly. So next year, your dots will even be smaller, right?
The other side is smaller.
Are they smaller? Let's go take a look. He's going to go show us the other side smaller so we can see the difference. All right. So we're going to do the same test we did over there. William, you're going to start off about 12 feet away, or 16 feet away is what we did before. So I would say go back a little farther, as far as you can here. And what he's going to do is he's going to zoom in. So here, I got it. There we go. All right, so let's come on in and take a look. The dots are a lot smaller here, so now this makes it easier. So this screen here is actually almost, now I can see the panels, but I'm not too concerned about that because these are hard to go ahead and place and get them exactly configured. These are very, very small panels. I can see the panels look like they're only about from here to here, there to there. Very, very small. So now you could take, go back out if you can. And I'm going to talk about it here a second. So, at what point, I am right now, go back a little bit further back here. I'm going to go back to how far I'd be sitting in my living room. I'd be sitting probably about this far in my living room here, thereabouts. Could I watch a movie on this? I could. So at what point is my whole wall these panels? And I see one on the floor here. Now, let's go take a look. I'm going to grab this here because it's got a handle on it. This is their demo here. I don't know what happened to my man here. He's going to talk to me. So you can see the components that are behind it. And they're just individual panels that you build together to make one screen. I talked about it yesterday, for example, down at the Glen Helen down there. We did the, let's go back out so we're not too big here. So at Glen Helen last year, we used a big LED screen to do the graduation event. They came and they put it together, and after about a week or something, they took it back down and it was gone. So I want to talk about here is this industry here is going to be changing to the point where, at what point will these be on walls everywhere? You're seeing it on the sides of hotel buildings. You're seeing it all over the place here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get his card here.
Yeah, definitely.
So we keep track of these guys. Well, you know what? What I want to talk about here is because these, yours is very clean. It gets cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. You're seeing more and more of this stuff in the back of theaters. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to talk about it. We're going to have a conversation on your product here. So, there we go. That's why you have a technician with you. So, this type of product here, there's so much capability as you get to the point where you cannot see the dots anymore, or they're getting so small that you have to get really, really close to see it. Where's your company coming into this?
Yeah, because the technology developed so fast. Now we call the UHD.
Yeah.
Actually, we use a very small LED pixel, and we put up LED so close, so you can now see even if you are so close to the LED screen. So now I think we can do 1.5 millimeter like this one, 1.2 millimeter.
So what is this one here?
1.5.
This is 1.5.
Right.
What's the one on the other side?
1.9.
1.9.
That's a lower resolution. And we also have 1.2, 0.9, 0.7.
No, even tighter than this. So as this becomes tighter and tighter and tighter,
right.
Now this level here,
right.
You could use this, this could be a theater background, not in a movie theater,
right.
But production, a drama production,
studios,
stuff like this.
Right.
So this industry is going crazy to the point, could you imagine a classroom?
Right.
When it gets cheap enough, a classroom with a whole wall
right.
is up there. You don't no longer pin the student's work on the wall. You take a picture of it and it's now on the screen.
Right.
Totally different worlds are coming from this. Well, thank you very much for sharing with us here.
Okay, yeah, so
all right.
Enjoy the show.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah,
this is live, by the way.
Okay,
so I didn't tell you ahead of time, but you are live. A lot of people are watching this live right now. All right, you did perfect. All right, let's come over here. That is very interesting because that's one of the things we've been talking about. And we didn't really show a very good view of it before, but if you look on the side over here, you can see how the different pieces all bolt together. And it's this side over here, this is flat as flat can be here. So to make sure these panels get as close as they can together. And then when they were all hooked together, they all like daisy chain, and then the system knows they signal to. Very interesting technology. Really growing very rapidly. And then he talks about there's pixel sizes that are smaller than this. So that's a little bit outside of what we're talking about with the entry and the second and third level, you know, photography and audio work, but I just had to dive into that. Let's see what we have over here. We already done that aisle. You know, it's funny, I was talking to a person a while back, and what's happening today, for example, even sports counters and stuff like this, a lot of this stuff is all done with AI, or starting to the point where there's not anybody pushing a button anymore. A computer figured out the goal was made, and if it was made incorrectly, somebody just overrides it. Let's take a peek. That's the other side of that one. So we're going to come across, we're almost done with this room here. I think we're going to have some time to get over to the West Hall. Okay. All right, let's come down here, see what we can find that fits. A lot of this stuff doesn't really fit what I want to talk about today. Some does, some doesn't. You have a lot of these on the floors here. Many of the conventions do this, where let's say you have a product, you can't really afford to have a 10 by 10 space, but he's going through and videotaping too. So, but you can actually maybe just get a little kiosk like this to show what your wares are, your software. And if you're trying to sell it again, like I said, maybe this is the place where you make a connection and somebody else buys you out. Hot cloud sleeve. This is all storage back here, so I'm going to skip along here a little bit. I'm looking for some very, very specific things here. This is all pushing stuff here. Like I said, if there's something that we missed today in this video here, send us a note. If they're here, we'll try to get over and get some more information for you. A piece of software, and I don't know, I know the company a little bit here. What it's done is for making animations or making different things for your backgrounds. Another process that you're seeing out there are, instead of using backgrounds, we're using screens that are using the LED screens because they're getting so clean and you can make them so big. Do you really need to do a green screen? And here's a very good example of that right here, where you have, instead of going ahead and having a green screen where you're putting something up there, which is actually nice, it can flow very easy, you know, because you can flip it around and so forth in production. Why not just have the background the way you want it before you start filming? So as these LED screens get tighter, get smaller, and get cheaper, you're going to find a lot more production. The green screen could be something that eventually disappears. I don't know. We'll see on that. still has a lot of things it can do. I don't know if it'll ever disappear, but it'll get to the point where we'll see a lot more of this. Maybe you can swing around here, William, and show where you have, for example, the host is up there talking, and where are you? I don't know where we are. We're in LA somewhere, because I know from the palm trees and so forth. But now, what you're seeing is, you really feel you're there. If you notice, there's a bird flying up there. Those could have been animated, put into there. I'm not saying they're live. My guess here is because there's nobody on the street here, this could even be computer generated. And you know what? I need to find somebody because I want to ask that question here. We'll find somebody real quick here. See if we can find somebody that knows. This guy has a thing on the back of his shirt so he knows. We're live right here and we have a couple questions.
What an intro.
What
an intro. I'm Neil. Nice to meet you.
Neil, hold on. Let me go ahead and get this so it's a little noisy in your booth. So we catch it. I'm here with Neil. You want to hold it?
Oh, sure. Why not?
Why not? Gives my hand so I can do whatever I want to do.
What's your name?
I'm Eric.
Eric, nice
You're Neil. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet
so
you.
I was explaining to the viewers, because most of our viewers that we have here that are going to be watching this are entry level, no matter if it's audio or video podcasting, second level, third level. People maybe on third level think about going to fourth level. And one of the things I've been talking about here is the type of, we're going from green screens, seeing more of the live action screens. My guess was this is computer generated.
It is. So
I knew it.
I work for OptiTrack. I'm one part of the technologies that's going on in this booth to make this virtual production demonstration happen. So if you pan around.
Why don't we swing around here a little bit so we have it more over to us over here. Why don't we come on over here? So I noticed even the floor.
Yes, sir.
You've even doing work with the floor.
So it's a planar LED wall and an LED floor. So there's representatives. I can direct you to speak with them about their technology. So
what we want to do is the big picture of it. Really, that's what we want to touch on.
Okay, so in that case, then virtual production is the kind of marriage of camera tracking, 3D environments, and video walls in order to transport the film production or broadcast.
Can we sit up here and test this? Let's sit up and test this. Is that all right?
Yeah.
So William, if you can come in, my cameraman, come on in there.
Yeah.
So you already have one camera there. We're going to do it with our camera
Go
here.
ahead and jump in there.
I would come over there a little bit on that side, so you can get a chance to see this.
Have him grab that camera and take videos of us into the virtual production stage.
Oh, we even could do that too.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that I'm going to ask Neil a couple of the questions here, because we are probably seeing a technology